we recording. We can start there.
Man, it's been at least
Think about it.
Come on, man. 20 years.
I think I met you in 97.
97.
97.
Yeah, 97.
Where in 97? Like,
so I moved to DC in like 93.
oh, okay, word.
That's right.
I lived here for a couple of years, and then I met up with Head Rock
Yeah.
from Infinite Loop, 3LG. You know what I'm saying, from that fame.
Yeah.
And I started getting the circle, and then he would take me to see like all these dudes who was the hottest dudes in DC, and Kokayi was one of the first people I met. You know what I'm saying? I was like, good Lord, this dude is insane. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, yeah.
And then I started like getting kind of more entrenched in the DC hip hop scene.
Okay,
Yeah.
word.
Used to be with Black a lot at Tacoma Station.
For sure.
Yeah, I remember those days.
For sure.
Okay.
And I also,
And you managed, who were you managing? Were you managing
the whole loop?
Okay.
Yeah, the whole loop.
Okay.
And I used to be the chef at Tacoma Station Tavern.
Oh, okay. Okay, word. All right. Well, I mean, we can start there.
So
I
I'm
mean,
entrenched in DC. I ain't just like
no, I was about to say. So
like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm originally from Landover, Maryland, and I now live in Brooklyn. I live in Clinton Hill, but I always come back here, and I actually started my career in this area. You know, I was an education reporter. Then I started covering the DC scene, the music scene, in like 2009. Yeah, he was one of the first people I reached out to because he's a whole legend,
He's
right?
A whole ass legend.
Kokayi knows me in real life, you know, that kind of thing.
I still got the text message.
You don't know me, but I'm starting this thing. Yeah, man. So I guess like what brought you to DC? Like what was so interesting about DC that you had to come down?
Howard Homecoming, bro. Come on.
Well, there you go. That gets us all.
No, not,
it gets everybody.
Ex-girlfriend and a very good friend of mine still. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm living down here, blah, blah, blah. I came down here and fell in love with DC. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm set up. Mm-hmm. You know? It was like one of those in-between tribe points. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay. It's like I was either doing tribe stuff or in the kitchen somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is one of them kitchen places where I was trying to trick myself like, oh, I'm just a normal human being.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of okay. I'm gonna ask from a fan's perspective, right? Because obviously I grew up with Tribe and I grew up listening to all of y'all. But it's like, you know, did you guys know when you were making those records that y'all were doing what y'all were doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, or y'all were just kind of
absolutely not. Anybody who tells you like in those days that they knew what they were doing, they're lying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was just watching the documentary about the women in hip hop last night. That's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's called like the first 2 episodes, and I'm bugging out because I'm like, oh my god, like this is my life I'm watching. You know what I mean? And nah, we didn't. We were like 15, 16 years old. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was just me, but I'm listening to Light. Light was 14. Shantae was 14. Light was like 16 when they started. Like, you know, so we were all the same age, and we kind of had ideas of how we wanted to see things and what we wanted to put across. Like in marketing, you find where the gaps are and you try to fill those holes. That's what we were trying to do. You know what I mean? And they're not speaking for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't out here gangstering. You know what I'm saying? Our parents are probably smart and, you know, semi-affluent. They put nice books and stuff like that for us. So we were like educated. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we wanted to put out like, I guess, larger ideas and show a bigger slice of what it's like. Because the gangster dudes wasn't really representing us.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm actually in revisions now. I got a book coming out on De La Soul next year, and I find that in my writing about De La, I'm actually writing about myself because it's the same deal where it's like I could appreciate NWA and all that, but I wasn't going to wear like the.
I thought it was dope. Yeah, I thought it was dope, and that definitely informed the way we made music.
Right.
But as far as like shooting people and beeping out, come on.
Right.
Wasn't doing that.
Yeah, and also like I guess over the years I've also kind of become a jazz dude, and I remember I was having a conversation with Hank Shockley actually not too long ago, and he was saying how like shout out to Hank Shockley.
Shout out.
I mean that dude, sure. But like
Hank and Keith.
And he was talking about how like that hybrid of jazz and hip hop wasn't super popular when it first came out.
No. To lend even, so we were doing what we were doing since like 12, 13 years old. Let's keep it totally funky. We submitted demos when I was 14, and they had like Pubic Enemy, Bonita Applebum. But Bonita Applebum first. I can tell us now we grown men. Bonita Applebum originally was Bonita Applebum. You make me want to come. That's so hilarious now. When I think about that, it's just so funny. Dude.
Wow. All right.
Because you're 14.
Yeah.
Right.
So so we submitted those demos and they're like, this is trash. What the fuck is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it wasn't until like Tip made the song with Jungle. And they're like, oh shit. Because Jungle Brothers were popping off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird how they tell these stories now. They only pick out the popular people's stories. But most likely, there was a group that was dope as fuck who inspired those people and the style and everything. And the people who invented the style never get credit. They never get credit. It's the person who makes it popular who's obviously like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Jungle Brothers, they were murdering the radio. And Tip got on the record, and they were like, oh, there's another version of this shit? So after that, it was just, you know, open season on us.
Okay. And now you kind of reacted to that interaction between jazz and hip-hop, man. Like, what were your memories of it?
I mean, it was, until I heard Tribe, I had never really listened to a bunch of people that were listening to stuff that I was listening to with my dad. Right? And so it was like hearing the records that I heard with my dad on somebody else's record. I'm like, yo, I know what that break is from. I know that's a Lou Reed joint. That's a such and such joint. And it was like hearing those things and that influence, especially coming from Tribe, right? And it was 4 black dudes that had got together that apparently, like you said, had read some books, had listened to some things, had been exposed to a different type of situation. And the funny part was it was from New York. So my dad is a Bed-Stuy dude. I used to be up in the summers at my grandmother's house in White Plains, listening to BLS, Kiss FM. But hearing that coming out, especially if you know the history of like what the Queens rappers were doing, what the Brooklyn rappers were doing, what the Manhattan rappers were doing, what everybody sounded like, right? And this was before Shaolin was a thing. You heard these different influences, but you didn't hear black kids that sounded like they had been exposed to a certain type of music. And things that you would think about sampling that I loved from listening to records with my pops. And so hearing those things on a record for the first time, and then the zeitgeist that was in the air at that time about Africa and being about being black and black not being a negative thing and how we can embrace our culture. And then just songs like I Left My Wallet in El Segundo, like, come on, son, for real, for real. Like, the whole influence of that song was way left from what anybody was putting out.
Yeah. I remember bugging out just off that title. Because I had never seen even titles like that. Like, what? Like,
well, let me hip you to something right quick. It's really funny, like, when we think about it. Like, we didn't fancy ourselves as, like, rappers, B. Like, we weren't aspiring to be, like, Run DMC or LL Cool J or nothing like that. We wanted to be, like, Earth, Wind & Fire and Prince and shit. That's how we thought we was. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Marvin Gaye's of the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't thinking, like, you know, it was just that was our choice of expressing our shit, our choice of medium, and like, you know what I'm saying, was hip hop, because that's what we were from. But we definitely wanted to be like Earth, Wind & Fire and Isley Brothers and Prince. That's what we was chasing. We wasn't chasing no hip hop. So that's why the album covers was like that. That's why the titles was like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I named our group as A Tribe Called Quest and not, you know what I'm saying, something else. A Tribe Called Quest, shit, that could be anything.
Right.
True.
You know what I mean? We thought about those things when we, you know.
So even down to the cover art? Because I don't think y'all were even on that cover art.
Nope.
The first one.
Nope. Right. Was Parliament on that cover art?
True. Right. Kind of looked like a
dude, I'm telling you, like, we were trying, like, yeah, that's what we were aspiring to be, bro. Yeah.
No, right on, man. So, like, I guess I want to go back just a little bit. It's a question for both of y'all, really. Like, your first memory of hip hop.
My first memory of hip hop had to be like 1982. I'm like 11 years old, and the cat that I used to live in Co-op City in the Bronx, and a dude that lived directly upstairs from me, his name was Larry. I can't remember what his DJ name was, but he was one of the neighborhood DJs, and he had equipment. So, you know, you have equipment, you was a superstar. Mixing 2 turntables, back in those days, you was a superstar. So, how he used to practice was put his turntables and his rig on the terrace and play records and just blast music out the 8th floor. And we were playing the sandbox baseball, whatever, and listen to Cold Crush, listen to Force MCs, listen to Funky 4 Plus More, listen to Shy Rock, listen to all these dudes, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what kind of informed me in my hip hop. That's my first real memory.
Okay.
I was at bat playing baseball, tennis ball, and they played this record by Sugar Hill Gang called Showdown. And it was, I think it was them against Cold Crushers, like 2 groups against. And now I was like blown away, blown away by this. I remember like, what the? And that's like my first real seminal memory.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
Coke, how about you, brother?
You could not be cool on the playground unless you could do the whole Sugar Hill Gang thing. If you couldn't, I'm empty dump the ladies' parent. If you couldn't pull that out, and the extended version,
Extended version.
Have you ever been over your friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good? That was the extended version. So everything else ended early. But if you knew that part, then they knew you had the record. And so that was my introduction, especially coming from DC, where go-go is our indigenous music form, and I could hear. You know, at any time, if I walk down the street from my house, because I grew up on Elmira Street, Southwest, on the southeast side. If I went, and I went to Patterson Elementary, so if I went down the street, and if you listen enough, you could hear junk, right? Junk with the original instrument junk, right? So coming from that, and then hearing this song, and this song being so popular on the playground in elementary school, it's like if you knew that song, then you was definitely cool. And if you knew the extended version, then you was they was like, oh, you were on a different level. Yeah. Because I could keep going. Y'all stopped because y'all stopped off the version everybody else heard. Yeah. I'm still going, right? And that was my first introduction to it. But I didn't fall in love with hip hop music until my brother bought home Sucker MCs. He was at Norfolk State at the time, and he bought home Sucker MCs, and it was just in the regular profile vinyl joint with the little hole cut out. That was it. That was it. And then he played that joint, and I was like, whatever that is, run that back.
That gave me chills because that's the one who did it for me, Sucker MCs. It was like, we were, toying around it. I love this. This is dope. Nice for the parties and shit like that, dancing with the girls, but it was a wrap.
It was a wrap.
It was a wrap after that, dude. I don't know, like, man. Because before that, I'm going to tell you, Run DMC changed the whole rap game because before then, all the rap dudes, they were raised by, like, all those groups I was talking about, the Isley Brothers and all these groups, so they wore costumes and outfits and shit. Run DMC was the first time where you saw somebody walk onto stage with the same stuff that they was wearing in the street. And that just totally made it like, oh, this is totally ours now. Like, this is ours. Yeah. This is something I can, I can relate to. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the one who did it.
Yeah. At what point did you brothers realize that hip hop, or just, I'll take it back. At what point did you brothers realize that creativity was going to be the way for y'all? Because obviously you loved hip hop, you fell in love with it, but at what point did you say, okay, I'm going to be a creative person moving forward, and I'm going to try to parlay that into something?
I don't think we've ever had that idea. I think it was just innate to just do the shit. Like, for me, I used to hear records and stuff like that, and do, like, what I'm saying, that led me to do the beatbox. 11, 12 years old, I moved to Queens. I meet Fife. Like, let's go play basketball. And I start doing the beatbox. He's like, time out. Do that again? He starts rapping. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what I'm saying? He's like, yo, Tip, you gotta hear this. And that's how that started. And from that point on, that's what we did. We played basketball, and we made songs and records and freestyles and routines and stuff like that. We started seeing, because, fortunate enough to live down a block from Run DMC and all these cats. And then also, we talk about it in the movie, we lived in this, like, affluent black, a neighborhood where the artists from the 40s and the 50s, the closest they could move to Manhattan, live in Manhattan because they were black, was my neighborhood. That's the closest they could get to Manhattan. So my neighborhood was like Ella Fitzgerald, James Brown, Roy Campanella, Count Basie, Duke Ellington. All these people had houses and cribs around there. And that's where I grew up, and they had this mural with all these people on this wall, and we'd walk past this mural all the time like, this is what we could. This is possible. Like that, we can do this because these people in our neighborhood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know.
So it's just all around you, pretty much.
All around. And we met our early first manager, and he's like, "Y'all guys are good as anybody else." You know what I mean?
Right.
And we started trying to make demos at 13, 14 years old, which is insane. I think about with my kids, what they're doing at 14 years old. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
How about you, brother?
It's crazy that he started as a beatbox because I never wanted to rap. That was my whole thing. I was just like a beatbox in elementary. And then when we went to high school, me and Sub-Z used to battle people in the hall. I was the beatbox. He was the MC.
And that was me and Fife.
Yeah. And then when he went to college, we both went to separate colleges. I was writing rhymes for people, but I never wanted to rhyme. I was like, no, I got rhymes for you, but I just want to beatbox and make the music. And so we'll be cool with that. I don't want to be on stage. I don't want to be that person on stage having right.
Ooh, yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah. That's weird to me for you because like in my understanding of music and what hip hop is, you were one of the first people who understood that your voice was an instrument. I can tell your jazz background. I can tell the way that you fill the spaces in. Like people weren't really doing that. That's why I heard you was like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is like, you know, people wasn't really on that yet like that. You know, he was one of the first people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like he was on the same speed with like D-Stacks and all these guys. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're trying to. He was doing the same shit at the same time. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get that credit for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and to that end, you know, and I've always wanted to ask you, I think we probably had private conversations about this, though, but, like, you were doing all that stuff, but, like, you were doing it in D.C.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's
you know what I'm saying?
That's the problem.
Right.
DC
like, so what was... Man, listen, you gotta leave DC and come back. Absolutely.
I love DC. Don't get it twisted, but DC eats his baby.
DC can love you to a point,
right?
And then after that point, when they feel like they can see you next Tuesday or the next Tuesday, then it's like
somebody from outside of DC got to tell a nigga from DC that they fly.
Right.
That's bugged, right?
That was a weird. Yeah.
I
could never get over that.
Yeah. So like, how was that though? I mean, because obviously it was you. It was like Asheru. It was you know what I'm saying? Like. It was a few of y'all, and you were doing what you did. Like, how did you navigate building a career in hip hop in a go-go town?
It's hard. You got to take ego. I mean, that's why I have the perspective that I have now.
Yeah,
right. It's a lot of people that got ego. The ego will eat them up, right? And the one thing I used to remember is being on tour with Opus with 5,000 people. In Paris, and then come home and do a show, it'd be 50 people. Right? And what type of parking of the ego you got to do when that happens?
Yeah.
Right? How much you got to park your feelings about that? And it could go one or two ways. I could be like, well, I'm the greatest motherfucker out here, and y'all missing it, and I hate all of y'all. Or you could just be like, well, that's home. Like, that's home. It is what it is. You know, home gonna do that.
Yeah,
and it also keeps you. It's like, I don't think people should be, you know, knock down a peg because people think that they're famous or whatever.
Right.
I don't believe in that. I feel like if you do what you do and you're excellent at what you do, you deserve all the flowers, right? But I also understand, like, home, you know, sometimes the places that you feel you should get the love and you don't get that love, what it does to you is it makes me appreciate the love.
Yeah.
As opposed to having an expectation for the love. And that's what has differentiated me from a lot of my peers who mad and angry because they never got no love.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, you know, I appreciate the love I get, but I'm not really tripping off y'all because next week I'm gonna be back in Paris doing blah blah blah.
Hey, say it.
That's how I be feeling. So I'm like, oh, you ain't gotta love me today. Like, these 50 people, I'm so happy that y'all came. But you know,
that's it.
Come July, I'm gonna be back on 30 more cities. So I see you when I see you. Right. You know, and that could discourage a lot of people to not get love from home. And I don't hate home for that.
Right.
I'm just like, it is what I mean. You know, same thing. Like I told you, there's very few people that I know that can rhyme over the type of music that I rhyme over, especially when you talk about odd meter and things of that nature. And be able to freestyle and doing it too.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
And the only person I know that could do it, I mean, Super Nat is dope, but I don't think he can rock with the odd meter. But Tariq can. Black Thought can. Yeah. That's the only dude. And that dude was the first dude I met when I made my first record.
He's a machine.
Right. That was the dude I met when I made my first record. And that dude was like, hey, y'all mind if we put the pencils down? You know, because I ain't write nothing. And everybody in the room was like, let's do it. And we were the only crew. And this comes straight from Rich Nichols, God bless.
Yeah.
Rich was like, y'all the only people that ever gave him the understanding that it was other people like him.
That's important, right? That creative community.
It is.
Yeah. Wow, man. So at what point, I guess, again, it's a question for the table. At what point did y'all know y'all had something with what y'all were doing, with what Tribe was doing? Was there an aha moment where you were like, oh, okay, I think we got something here?
Yeah, and it was early too. It was Can I Kick It? So up until that point, the beats were complex, but that was the first thumper that we threw out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we was in the alternative rap kind of category.
Right.
We put Can I Kick It, and the dudes up on 125th Street was banging that shit, and we was like, that's it. It's a rap now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then Benita followed. What's up? Yeah. That was it. That was it. Cause then now, we did Showtime at the Apollo.
Okay.
And that's the hardest thing to do. And we went up there on the TV show, with a rap record, and smashed. We just knew like, that was it. After that, like, we have something here.
That's cool, man.
Having the whole crowd doing the dance, that was insane. Like, you can go YouTube that joint. It's insane how we killed that. We left the stage like.
The Apollo is where New York eats its babies.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, listen.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's the serving plate, the platter, because the Apollo is unapologetic
with seasonings.
With seasonings,
they gonna boo kids.
Oh no, they boo kids.
They boo kids.
They boo children.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, no, we're getting everybody out of here.
Can get it.
Anybody.
Pretty much. Listen, man. Yeah.
And how old were y'all at that time?
I was probably 18.
That's crazy.
I was probably 18.
Doing all that and you're a teenager. That's wild, man.
I mean, that's amazing though, right?
It is.
I mean, I look
that's
at it, and I think that's what drew me to Tribe too. Especially everybody's individual roles. That was the other thing too. It was a very defined roles that happened. And I feel like it happened organically.
Yes.
Like, you know, everybody's roles in the group and how
just fell into how.
And then being that young and being in it,
you
know, I imagine that your idea and understanding of the industry, especially being in it, right, exactly. Yeah, is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like, can you expand on that? Because you've seen the changes.
Well, yeah. Oh my God, I've seen changes. Well, especially for me, because, you know, being the youngest in a group, being in a group, I was totally insulated from all of those things, and my job was just to facilitate the spirit of the creative energy. Get us in the zone. Like, get us in the zone. You know what I'm saying? Get us in the zone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's all you got to do. And that was my role. I was into dip in, dip out. You know what I'm saying? I saw just a predatory lending practice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just that, you know, the fucking multi-level marketing, like all of that shit. That's what the rap game was like. You know what I mean? Business-wise. Nobody knew and nobody cared. So you're telling me you about to give me 10 G's, dude, to give you these 10 songs, and everybody's gonna hear these songs, and I get to do this? I'll take it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was it. That way, he wasn't giving a fuck about making no money, or even understood there was a lot of money to be made, or even cared about it.
Right.
We just wanted to be the freshest niggas around the way, freshest niggas on the block, freshest niggas amongst our crew, which our crew was crazy. So if you put out a record in our crew and somebody say, ooh, it's guaranteed outside's gonna be fly. You got Daylight and Jungle's ears listening, and Red Alert's ears listening to your records. So, you know, it was a lot to be great in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and to that end, I feel like it was definitely like a path to greatness. Then, like, I mean, I know I'm gonna sound like old man yelling at cloud, but it's like it wasn't like how it is now, where it's like as long as you got Wi-Fi, you can upload your song. Like you actually had to be dope back then.
Well, yeah. Well,
that's just me. That's just me talking. Radio.
No, that's some real shit because like I love the access that artists have to their community. You know what I'm saying? Their audience. I love that they have unfettered access. But the gatekeepers were there for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey man, that sounds like fucking trash. This is what a record is supposed to sound like. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Voice control, whatever. Like, turn fucking EQ your shit. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got your shit screaming all over the fucking place. There's no quality control. No. I can have an idea, and no matter how brilliant my idea is, there are still proper ways to articulate the shit. Make it sound good. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? And there's nobody to tell anybody that.
That's true.
So that's why all these records come out and they're fucking... Just like the fucking, what they call them, fast fashion?
Right. Yeah.
Same shit. Like, it's dope for right now. Wash that motherfucker 2 times and you're done with it.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of that piece of fucking Levi's jacket that you've had for the last 35 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? That still looks brand new. You put the wash and drag yourself on the ground with it or whatever, and it still holds up. Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between that, you know?
No, you're right. Like my whole barometer now, because I'm a vinyl dude, so it's like, okay, I can't think of anything current that I'm about the records for. Like anything that's like current and mainstream, I'm like, I don't think I'm about that. But I'm gonna still go back to them tribe records. I'm gonna go back to Robots and Dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying?
You know, so fucked up. What like we can go back 30, 40 years, and there's records that you could put on right now that slap just as hard.
Yeah.
What the fuck are these kids gonna be listening to in 40 years? What are them listening? What are these kids? What is my son's gonna? What is his 20th year high school reunion gonna look? What the fuck? What are they gonna be playing?
They're gonna be playing joints that they heard their pops listening to.
The same something like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I mean, you know, my kids have been revisiting old catalog from records that I listened to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my son is like, no, I like Tribe Called Quest. So that's what I'm going to play right now.
That's the craziest thing in the world.
And that's crazy because that's what still hits, you know. And I think, you know, I love today's music industry. I love it. I like all the access.
You get money.
Similar, right?
You get money.
Because that's, I mean, I think the difference, and that's the question I wanted to ask you too, is like, when did you find out or realize, because, you know, being fly, being on the block and being 18 and being outside and having all the attention, right, changes when you realize that I don't know why I got debt and the person that signed me got a Ferrari. So I want to know why I don't have, because we made the music, we sat down, we was in the studio, you never showed up until the record was due, and now you just got a bonus, and I'm sitting out here and I got to go do X, Y, and Z. I got to do 6 shows to get back to regular.
By the time you figure it out, bro, it's so too late.
Right.
It's so too late because you are held to this agreement that you make when you're 18 years old.
Right.
And who the fuck knows anything at 18 years old?
Right.
And you're making big grown man corporate decisions at 18 years old, and there's no tutelage, there's nobody to be like, yo, bro, hey. You know what I'm saying? They're like, fuck, you about to get what? 6 figures? Fuck that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not really understanding that how much money is really these things are really generating.
But when did y'all find out? When did y'all realize? Or when did you realize?
I think about maybe like 96-ish, 97-ish. You know what I'm saying? Like right when I came down here, I was kind of disillusioned. That's why I was like, I'm gonna be a regular nigga.
Right. He was like, I gotta go.
I'm gonna be a regular nigga.
Right.
I'm a regular dude. I'm going to this kitchen and like bang these pots out. You know what I'm saying? I'll be straight. I make money doing that. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, it's fucking twisted, and that's, you know, been my contention with the music business ever since. You know.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what. So what led to the disillusionment, man? Like. Because I'm just coming out of something kind of similar. We were talking about it, like I'm a writer, but I also kind of like was questioning, like, do I want to keep writing? What am I doing this for? So that's my story. But what was yours?
Doing a whole fucking album, have the motherfucker go platinum or whatever, and not having no goddamn money in the bank.
Right.
Maybe having like $900 in a fucking bank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? $1,000 in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? car bills, all kind of stupid shit. But like, you know, $900 in the fucking bank. Wow, such and such just bought a new crib on in the Hamptons shit.
Right.
Yeah, and that goes
inviting us to the motherfucking party.
Right.
Like, oh, look what you did.
Look what you did.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, look what you did for me.
Right.
Look at my house and my pool.
Yeah.
And you're sitting over there having signed that. Because I'm telling you, my best story is signing this contract with BMG France. And we were a little older. Mm-hmm. I was 24 and signed this contract with BMG France. And I still get a bill from Sony today.
A bill?
A bill. Like an unrecouped royalty bill, basically. Because we were jointly and severally liable. And then, you know, knowing what that term means and in perpetuity.
In perpetuity. In perpetuity is a crazy shit.
Right.
In perpetuity and future technology got us fucked up.
Listen.
Got us fucked up. In the
you know who got you with the future technology joint?
That's
it's Tabitha.
Tabitha.
Tabitha Soren from MTV.
Yeah.
So that's when the universe, because she argued when she got fired from MTV that they couldn't broadcast her voice, and they were like, "Oh, word," and she was like, "Yeah, you know," because they were like, "Well, it says everywhere," and then her lawyer said, "Yeah, but it doesn't control the universe."
Oh,
and they were like, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah, satellites are in the universe." Mm-hmm. So that's not in the contract. Mm-hmm. And after that, they changed the wording from terrestrial or whatever to the universe. Yeah. And then they changed technology to future technology. So anything else that came out after that you invent. Yeah.
Damn.
But I think we were supposed to renegotiate these things that came up and it never happened. So now Spotify and all these places are running fucking wild. And it's gonna take somebody who doesn't want anything else to do with the music industry to make a difference. Right? Yeah. Because if you fuck with this, best believe you're never making no fucking records again. You never be on nobody's stage, never do nothing if you try to fight this. So you gotta, find somebody who don't give a fucking. Like, okay, well, let's revisit this and be like, okay, we never negotiated this shit. Kind of sort of like Daylight went through a little bit of it, getting their money back from fucking Tommy Boy, which I'm glad they did that. You know what I mean?
And how long did that take, though? I mean, that's how long was that beef? Like
Daylight
30 years.
Never did. Daylight hasn't been on streamings until what? A year ago?
Yeah.
Till March, right?
Yeah.
This past March.
Yeah. So 30 years?
Man, wow, yeah. It's just kind of crazy to think about that, but yeah. So and so the whole transition to cook, you were always a chef though, right? You were always cooking. So I guess this is more of like a Oprah Super Soul Sunday type question or whatever the hell, but like I asked those, what kind of joy do you derive from cooking that you didn't derive from music?
No, it's the same. It's definitely the same thing. There's a lot of parallels. When you first hear a record, you're like, when you first get that first bite, you're like, that's the same kind of same kind of thing. You're only as good as your last record. You're only as good as your last dish. You know what I mean? And the service of it, like I'm putting my all into these babies and giving you these babies to enjoy for your consumption. It doesn't matter what I think about these babies. Only opinion that really matters is your opinion, or how good my babies are, how good my song is, how good my dish is. So it serves the same kind of things.
Same kind of things.
Yeah.
What kind of self-care do you derive from that?
The godness of it, the godliness of it. People, my creations. I'm creating these things out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm making fully formed ideas, thoughts, flavors. You know what I mean? I'm building these things out of the dust. You know what I'm saying? And it's a powerful feeling. It's my creations.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. Wah, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And all you got is the raw ingredients.
All you got is the raw ingredients.
And your lexicon and understanding.
Of understanding about what these things do and how they work with each other.
Right. Yeah, that's a great parallel.
You also dabble too, don't you?
Of course, man. I burn in the kitchen. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. I'm a latchkey kid. I'm from that generation.
Come on.
Brother,
Come on, let them know.
Yeah.
Let them know.
I'm from I'll be home at 6. And your sister gotta eat, and she picky.
Don't answer the phone unless you hear the code that we
Right.
got, and don't answer the motherfucking door.
Right.
Go in the house, lock the door. Y'all
Lock the door.
Y'all feed
Right.
yourself. I'll be home at
Feed
6.
yourself. I'll be home at 6. So the phone gonna ring twice. Don't pick it up. I'm gonna hang up and then call back. Then you can pick up the phone. You know what I mean? So,
wow.
Damn, I was a latchkey kid too. I don't remember that though. Y'all had a whole
we had
phone
code.
code.
I grew up
Okay.
in a different neighborhood. My neighborhood was a little different, and so you better answer the phone a certain way or the door a certain way. We ain't had no peephole, so I'm in the front window. Like, who that? Like, your father? Nah, my father ain't saying nothing because at first my father wouldn't. What's the code word? What's the knock?
What's the knock? Yes,
we can't just let you in, sir. And then it was the you got to cook. So if you have siblings and you the one that can reach the stove and you gotta do what you gotta do. I had a little sister, so all my brother is 8 years older than I am. So my brother was all doing whatever he was gonna do. He was like, look, cuz if my mom and them ain't home, I'm going out. So my brother is 16, I'm 8. You know what I mean? He like, I'm out. Good luck, good luck, man. I ain't making you no sandwich. You better figure it out. So it was either peanut butter and jelly, or some nasty Vienna sausages.
You learn how to, you gotta learn how to make
you gotta learn how to make something. And I watched my pops, and I was like, "Oh, you can do this and this, and he put that together. All right." And next thing you know, mans was making meals because I don't want to eat that. I was picky. I was like, I don't want to eat that. No. I can make this. I want grilled cheese, but I don't want regular grilled cheese. I want grilled cheese, but I want to put a little something in it. Little pepper on that joint. I want to toast the bread. And my little sister, she was funky, so she was like, I just don't want a grilled cheese. I need grilled cheese with the boo-boo. And then she was like, all right, here go a little meal. So by the time I'm in high school, dude, I was just like, my parents were just like, what you doing for dinner? I was like, I got it.
Yeah. And you just figure it out.
Man, I was baking chickens. I was making,
my parents
curries.
asked me, like, what are you cooking?
Right.
For the crib, like, you know what I mean?
What you got on it? Like, it was one of them joints.
Damn, I was about, man, you need a food truck or something, man.
Nah, I don't need no food truck. Because then that's the problem that I have, and I think I feel like this with you too, is the problem you have as a creative, and you as well, right? The problem you have as a creative is that you understand that your things that you create are worth something. You add a value to it.
Man, tell it.
Something that you would do that you normally would do just because you love it.
Yeah.
Once you have an understanding that there's a value to it, then everything becomes a product. So it's like, I don't want a food truck because I'm not going to like cooking for you to cook.
That's fair.
Now I got to figure out what you want to eat so I can make money. Then I got overhead and I got to worry about supplies and that ain't cooking.
That's always the thing about being a creative, man. Like, I'm fortunate enough in my life right now that I don't have to do things for money. You know what I'm saying? Strictly for money. I pick and choose the things I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, ugh. When I see these kids and they're strictly making art to get paid from it,
right?
It's a really ugly place to make anything beautiful from.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, I would hate to be in that position.
And I get a lot of those questions now where it's like, well, how do I get on? That's the question that everybody likes to ask.
What do you mean? You keep being putting your work and your effort into being good at the thing you're fucking doing.
Right.
And that shit'll come to you.
But everybody, they want it right now. They want it right away.
Well, like I said, like the perspective that our contemporaries that we make music from is a whole different perspective. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a business that's already formed already. And they're picking up, they're going to job. We were invested in it to the point of we're trying to make this thing a thing. I'm trying to make you serious about my fucking art, about my expression. Like, my expression is vital, dude. And we had to convince people of that fucking shit. So it's a different perspective to make music of this thing. This is a thing that exists already and it's going. Let me jump in and, get in there. And we're like, fuck, you believe me now? No? Right. You know what I'm saying? And we're building. Do you believe me now?
Well, it wasn't a vocation.
I feel that.
No,
remember, I think when we were coming out of school, it was like, what are we gonna do? Right? You gonna go to school, right? You gonna go to college, get a degree. Oh, you gonna play ball? You're gonna play ball. You're gonna sell drugs. Go into service. And then, as this business has formed, all right, now you can go rap. So now rap is a vocation. It's one of the things you pick when you come out of school, right? So it's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Oh, I can rap. You know, I could be in the music business. I could do rap or make beats or whatever.
Everybody else is doing other things to make money. Right. Like I was watching the documentary, and MC Lyte was delivering packages when she found out that her record was big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's for our generation. Like we was all doing other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so, and I don't think I asked you this question, brother, but I've always been curious. When did you know you had something with what you were doing with your creativity?
I had no idea. I had no idea until I wound up on the road.
I believe you too.
Word.
I had no idea. Like seriously, I was just like, you know, I was working at the National Endowment for Humanities, driving Lynn Chaney. I was Lynn Chaney's personal driver while I was there, and working in the library. And for certain, like when we went to New York, we made the record. I was like, all right, well, we went and made a record. Met these dudes from Philly, met these dudes from New York, came back home, went back to work. And then when we got the call to go on tour, I didn't know that people would actually be yelling and screaming and doing stuff. And now I could do this. Like, this is the part I could really do this part.
Yeah.
Until I was on tour. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, nobody is like, what I got to do. Like, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. And we were out for 6 weeks. So 6 weeks of getting up, go do the show, get back on the tour bus. I was like, oh, this is what people do when they make music.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it gave me a distinct understanding of what that was. And then I was like, well, I don't really like working for people. Right? I was like, I could do this. Yeah. I don't like working for people, but this might not last forever.
Oh my God, I was thinking the same. That was the thing that made me go to culinary school.
Right. It's like, this might not last forever. I don't think people are going to give me this forever. Like, I can't just do this forever.
Right.
Because I got to get a job.
Right.
I got to get a job because I grew up with practical people.
Yeah.
That had government jobs. Like, they knew what it was. Like,
my dad worked for UPS.
That's what I'm saying. You know.
My mom was a nurse.
There you go. My mom was an editor for the government. My dad worked in the government, Section 6 schools for the feds. And that's all I knew. I knew get up, go to work at 5 a.m, come home at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how you make money.
Yep.
Like, doing this other thing, like being creative and making art and, you know, doing stuff that you love to do, that's stuff you do on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
So even as you guys are, like, you know, respectively, you guys are, you know, doing what you do. Tribe is doing this thing. You're doing your thing. Was there ever this fear as a creative that the other shoe was about to drop at any moment?
Every step of the way.
Yeah.
All the time.
Every step of the way.
Still.
I struggle with that too.
Still.
That's why
Every
I
step
was
of the
asking.
way. I don't think you should. I don't think it's a struggle. I don't think you should let that feeling go. That's a good inspiring place to do your art from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That feeling of, I don't know what to call it, just dread or woe or whatever. Like, fuck, that nigga's on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
Yeah. I don't keep your ass and feet under your fire. I keep that pushing it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And I still, even when people will email me from nowhere and be like, hey, can you do a thing? I'm like, me? Like, I still had that feeling
People who don't have that are the people who be like, yo, I used to like when that nigga sound like he was hungry. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people who don't have that.
Right.
And you're like, oh, he's comfortable now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's just doing shit to, you know, be fly, whatever. You know who I'm talking. You know the people I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, probably. We probably talk to them. You know, we probably talk about the same folk. Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. So you struggle with that too, still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, man, I had conversations as recent as 2 weeks ago. I was like, well, you know, if I gotta go back to this law firm thing, I could just go ahead and pick up. I mean, I still got the skills. I can go do what I do there. I still do graphic design. I can consult. I can do, you know, you start running through the list, the cadre of the things that you know how to do.
Oh, yeah.
Even if I want to stay out of that world, I'm like, okay, what are the things that I do that don't necessarily come from doing music that are related to music that I could do for a check that, you know, is not, I'm not going to be jumping up and down, but I'm not going to be hungry either, because I never believed in being a starving artist.
No.
That was the other piece.
No.
I was like, no, we don't do starvation and art at the same time. Because I seen people struggle, you know, and make art, and I'm like, those people are dead and their work sells for millions
of fucking dollars right now.
Right.
Because they was hungry. as opposed to let me go get a little job, because you start to find ways to escape because you believe that you're making something super amazing, but the way of escape, because you broke buying paint, or you broke buying equipment, or you broke buying whatever, right? And you hungry and you see other people, because that's the hustle, that's the trickery of being a creative, or the trickery of being an artist, is that everybody around you seems to be flourishing. Seems. And you could be the one that's making the greatest shit in the world, and it will seem like you're not doing nothing, like you just sitting there, and people you know ain't better than you are just out here looking like they live right.
Oh yeah.
They eating good.
That's the hardest part.
And you sitting up here like, motherfucker, I got $2. My shit's the greatest shit in the world. Why won't somebody come along and buy my shit?
Right, instead of this trash.
Instead of this hot ass garbage sitting next to me. And this motherfucker got his feet out. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got his feet out. He up on the ground. You know what I mean? It's just chilling.
So I'm some sand or some shit.
Right, some sand and shit, drinking whatever's. And your ass over here rubbing nickels. And you trying to figure out, like, is my shit great? And that's the mind fuck. And in the process of being, am I great, the escape comes in. So some people dive into the bottle. Because that's, they dive into the bottle, they dive into whatever substance that they dive into just to justify the fact that they're feeling dread over trying to compete with their own self.
Then they start doubting their art.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like, if I hit this bottle, I'll get more creative.
Right. Or
they need something to loosen them up now. Like,
or they water down their shit so they can, or what they feel like is so they can compete.
So you can understand, so they can compete. Like,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shit ain't as good as anymore. So where you was about to make your breakthrough and about to be dope, you not dope no more because you changed your shit to look like somebody else.
Right.
And now people still gonna buy somebody else shit.
And that same person, the same people that you chasing, they were chasing you.
Right.
That's the weird part too. It's like folks are like, "Oh, you're an inspiration." It's like to you,
broski. It's a real ass thing. That shit is a hit every time, every day, every time. That's the shit. That shit is the one that's like. That's why I talk about the ego and I talk about mental health and I talk about making sure you maintain the people that are your day ones, like the real day ones that will tell you like
you fucking up, you're an idiot. That shit is whack, bro.
That shit's whack. That shit is whack that you about to do. Why are you doing that? You know you better than this. I feel like if we have a bunch of people that we all know. Yeah. That we wish they were still with their day ones or would consult with their day ones or would listen to their day ones because they know they like, yo, man.
That's not you.
That's not you. And what are you doing? What are you doing, dog?
Bro?
What the fuck?
That's true.
Just be you, and they appreciate you and want you to be good for you. But that's that thing. That's what this life of creating does. It's a lot of mixed emotions that go into it because it's. And I'm glad you touched on it earlier. Jarobi said, you're making something out of nothing. I got to create things out of dust.
Yeah.
Right? And when you create things out of dust and things that don't exist, the only thing that's in you is the thing is in your mind that you imagine. And the ingredients are the things that you can, that are tangible.
Yeah.
But you're creating something that's intangible.
Yeah.
Shit is like alchemy, bro.
It's alchemy in real life.
And it's kind of wild to be creating stuff like that when you feel like people pushing against it. Yes. I struggle with that sometimes too as a writer, where it's like I'm just trying to do right by this art or this group or whatever, and you feel like there are people pushing against the idea, and that's the hardest part for me, at least, man.
I was watching this interview the other day. Dope as fuck. Wynton Marsalis, he was speaking on some panel or whatever. Well, it was just him. So like he was speaking at a university or something like that. And he's so gangster. So there's a bunch of really smart people in the fucking room. They're asking them really thoughtful and intelligent questions. This lady stood up. She's like, I got this motherfucker. She said, so, who do you make music for? Yourself or the listeners? Everybody's like, ooh, 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 ooh. And he said, that's a very good question. And he took his mic, he started walking towards her. He said, well, the first person who hears my music is me. So I'm the first listener. So I make music for the listeners.
Wow.
Yeah.
yo, you got to make music for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to feel comfortable in your art. You have to be satisfied that you express yourself correctly, or you're not gonna make anything good. It's never gonna be good. Mm-hmm. You got to make this shit for you. I know it sounds crazy, but you're not really making music for them.
Nah, that doesn't sound crazy at all.
That's not what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We try to present an idea or a thought or a vibe or something that we feel is the real shit, and then you disseminate to whoever. Because ultimately, when you're comfortable with what you did, like if it doesn't pop off, you're not crushed by it.
Right.
Because that wasn't your purpose of making it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Dave Chappelle said one time, I was laughing my ass off. He said, "I get paid for the attempt."
Mm-hmm.
I got paid for the attempt.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. What I found is like stuff like that is the stuff that hangs around. So even if the critics or whatever don't like it when it first comes out, it's still going to be celebrated and taught in schools.
Marvin Gaye, Here My Dear.
Right.
And what's going on too?
No, What's Going On had a little bit of success.
It did, but also Barry didn't. When he first heard it, he was like, "Oh, I don't know if we should get political."
But that was an undeniable joint. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, of course.
But Here My Dear, one of the most beautiful albums ever fucking made. During its time, nobody fucking did shit.
True.
20 years, 30 years later, well, how do we miss this? Mm-hmm. This has been in our face all this time. How do we miss this?
Right.
So, a lot of records like that. Bitches Brew.
Yeah.
Right.
Bitches Brew is another joint.
Yes.
People didn't fuck with Headhunters either when it came out.
No.
Like, what? Funk?
No,
this ain't jazz, bro. Jazz Police was jumping all over it.
Right?
Jumping all over. But it's like, yo, how do you deny that's the song Sly on there? You know, like, come on, like, y'all. To your point, it's like I listened to a lot of them records. I'm like, y'all didn't like this when it came out? This shit is crazy.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
To me, Herbie Hancock, Trust Me. The joint where he on vocoder singing.
Yeah.
That joint, I was like, Slim, why? How y'all slip on this joint?
I know.
He's got to be really frustrated because he gets so much credit for all that commercial stuff that he did.
Right.
But none for his the essence and soul that he did and
the Mama Dishi
and the blueprint that he left for us to fucking follow.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when I was making that point about sometimes you do some shit, but it's not you who gets the credit for it. Mm-hmm. It's the motherfucker who followed the blueprint, and like, you know what I'm saying? They get all the credit for it. Like Herbie, he's got to be one of those people. Like fuck you, Quincy.
Right. I see what you mean. Yep. Right, exactly. Yeah, he was doing that shit, and people was like walking out. He always tells that story about like, I was at the Troubadour. I was the Pointer Sisters opened up for us. They were jamming to that, and don't get me wrong, the Pointer Sisters is amazing. Then he comes out with the Mama Dishi shit, and everybody's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna peace out.
We're gonna peace out on this." But then I listened to them records, and I'm like, "This might be my favorite era."
Because it was. Because at that time, that person had to dig into their expression and what they was making to have their own cathartic moment.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that's, for anybody that does anything, like you ain't write that De La book for the people. That's a book about one of your groups that you loved, that you think people should love.
Turned it to a memoir. Right. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
De La's my absolute favorite group in the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Absolutely.
Possum makes y'all know that.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because I tell him that all the time. So
that's one of those things. It's like,
rest in peace, Dave. I love you.
For sure.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, man. And that's I think that's key to doing whatever we do. I mean, like you said, man, it's a 12-year-old out here that will murder me any day on the mic. That's the person that's always in my mind.
Yeah.
When Bama's get comfortable and be like, "Oh no, I think I'm the hottest," I'll be like, "All right, 12-year-old shorty coming through."
12-year-old shorty. Yo, that's the name of the album.
12-year-old shorty coming. Ain't gonna make you feel bad about your old ass, right? It's gonna make you feel bad about the beats you make,
right?
How you are on the turntables, everything. What you writing, what you painting. There's a 12-year-old out here that will kill you. So you better stay on your game. Like, not to try to compete with the 12-year-old, but just know. I mean, we in a business, man. This is that's why You Are Catch Up is the title of the book.
Yeah. There you go.
Because
plug the
that's
book.
what you are, man. You a condiment to these people.
Wow.
And it's a million of you out here. We ain't the only one.
No.
That's, I mean, to Jarobi's point, how many tribes exist that never became tribes?
That never made it?
that was already out on the block that you probably knew, that y'all probably battled.
Yeah.
That was in your school.
Yeah. I got homeboys that I used to fuck around with, and they're better than any artist that's been on the fucking radio. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why can't, it ain't, dude. Everybody doesn't have the connection with the audience, which ultimately is what you have to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they make good ass fucking shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why? You're better than fucking, I've met 3 dudes that I was like, holy fuck. Doing the type of shit Jay-Z does, I'm like, holy fuck, they're better than Jay-Z.
Right.
And nobody will ever hear these motherfuckers.
Ever. They even still on the block. You know what I mean? They in the mailroom somewhere.
Yeah.
And could kill dude at any moment.
At any fucking
and
moment.
just didn't have that thing. I mean, it's just like, 3LG. To me, 3LG from DC was one of the best hip-hop bands ever. I was like, I could guarantee you, at the time that everybody was out, I was like, they're going to be the ones. They're getting ready to get signed. They're going to go. Yeah. It's going to be a whole problem. Mm-hmm. They're a super dope band.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nothing. Mao on the boards. Oof. Mao as a producer.
Oof.
Incredible.
Oof.
But Mao doing sound.
Mm-hmm.
He doing sound.
I mean,
doing sound now.
I mean, he definitely, he's made some waves, obviously, but I think it's somebody like YU.
Yeah, for sure.
Same deal, where it's like I hear his stuff and I'm like, he's one of the best rappers in the world. YU. YU's incredible. Man, he just put out a single last week, and I'm like, I've been playing it. That's all I played one day. Right. After that, the column came
talking about niggas like Kev Brown.
Yeah.
Kev Brown, Landover. Shout out to Landover.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, how did that? Like, what?
Right.
Why? And then make you sit back and you be like, all right,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I mean, I do and I don't. You know what I mean? There's certain things certain things. I mean, just like the dudes off the block, right? There's dudes I know. I'm like, I know the decisions you made. I know what happened.
Yeah.
You ain't get on the plane. You ain't, you didn't go down. You didn't do whatever you was going to do. Nah. And now that's what it is.
Right. You didn't sleep on enough floors.
Exactly. Well, not even the floors. Like, sometimes it be the other decisions. It's not even the sleep on the floor joint. It's just like, you ain't hang around the extra 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was 5 minutes. Literally, we was all sitting in the building. 5 minutes more, and the person was coming down the elevator. 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
But you like, man, fuck all this shit. This shit ain't real. I'm out. And then 5 minutes later, we on tour. 5 minutes later, we like, yo, we're gone.
Yeah.
And what happened? Why y'all ain't come get me? Like, you left 5 minutes before the person was about to come down. It's a chapter in the book where I talk about giving back $500. Me, Black, and Sub, we all was asked to give back $500 so we could go to Cuba, a place we never was going to go at the time because it was illegal to go.
Yeah,
as an American citizen, and it was like, y'all want to get back $500? We just got paid from being on tour. Do you want to give me this $500 back so you could go to Cuba? And I was like, yeah, man, $500 to go to Cuba all day. Sub and Black ain't do that. That extended my career another 10, 15 years. Wow. Off of $500.
Wow.
So sometimes it's like that. And not that they had bad careers.
No.
Not that was a thing. It's just that I know that pushed me another 10, 15 years in a whole different arena with a whole different group of people because I said, take this $500 back. And sometimes that's the decisions. Those are the decisions to get on the plane and not get on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, just a quick aside. How much time are we allotted? Days. Okay. Well, we want to take days.
So I'm gonna ask.
Please jump in.
Did you ever have an opportunity? Like, did you ever feel like, as y'all processed as Tribe, and even the joint you did as Evertan, right? In those moments, did you feel like there were certain people that could have been there that wasn't there because of the decisions that they made?
Definitely. I just always felt that I've been like super fortunate. You know what I'm saying? I was the dude that was taking extra 5 minutes and stuff like that. So now, I have a relationship with somebody who it might not have served at that time, made any sense at all that time. But now today, in 23, now that I made those connections, a lot of these people are heads of boards, heads of companies, and all this stuff. And I have a lot of opportunities to sneak and wiggle in places that an average person wouldn't go, and maybe put 10 times more work into the shit that I did. But the fact that I sat there and they wanted to say hello to me, and I sat there, and instead of just being like, whatever, I had a little 5-minute conversation with a motherfucker. And it's changed my life to this day. I get opportunities off of that all the time. All the times they're like, come on, man. I'm like, no, they want to ask me a question. I owe them to answer this question. And because I answered that question, I've gotten so many jobs now. So many opportunities now. You know what I'm saying? Where they picked me over somebody who's equally qualified or even maybe more qualified because I was nice to them.
Yeah. I was about to say, I feel like you was that dude in the group that would be like, you know all the promoters, you know every sound person, the backstage people, the security. Yeah.
Head of a club will be talking about bringing somebody in that group. This guy's in the back. Oh, Jarobi? Fucking guy's fucking trip, man. Blah, 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 blah. So now they're picking me instead of somebody else. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that has happened. Like, just recently that's happened. It got me a big gig that I can't talk about right now. It's got me, you'll see it in the future, but because of ICE, a dude came to my party and he asked me a couple of questions and I sat there with him and then had one drink with this guy. And now I'm, about to pull up some crazy figures just because I did that or had a little conversation, that little interaction.
Yeah, this is kind of
what fucking know. It's crazy.
It's something to be said about just being a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can get you pretty far.
I know that these people are the reason why I make that money. That shit's never lost on me. I don't care how much I think of myself or how whatever. The more fans you have, it's the more humility you should have, because there's more people buying into your shit, and that's the most humbling thing in the world. Somebody loving your babies like you do. That's the most humbling shit in the fucking world. And when you shit on that process or that relationship or that agreement that you make with these fucking fans, because that's what you're doing. Hey man, fuck with me, I promise I'll give you the hot shit all the time. When you fuck with that agreement, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out for you. It never does. Gotta give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Like, I can't even really say it no more concise than that, bro. You're making an agreement, and out of that agreement you get fucked in the long end. You know what I'm saying? In all kinds of ways. So I know it's important for me to talk to these people. It's submitted to me, but to them, you gotta understand too. Like, especially with a group like us, like we came out at a time where there was a lot of people that didn't feel like they were being served, and nobody was talking to them. And just us being our fucking selves or whatever, let them be themselves. And that led a lot of people to like, dude, I'm in shit. This shit about to make me cry. I was in Chicago the other day. This nigga came up to me, yo, you're the reason why I'm alive, bro. And I just stopped everything. I'm like, yo, that I could stop doing whatever I'm doing now. One life is enough, but to hear that over and over, that's the most powerful shit in the world. Yeah, the beats are dope. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah, I said some dope shit or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. But to be like, yo, I had a choice. He was like, yo, I had a choice. I listened to, I can't remember what record I listened to. This record, I was like, smoked a joint, and I was like, I'm not gonna kill this nigga. That just happened last Friday in Chicago. Gangster nigga. Like when you see these niggas, you know these niggas when you see them.
Yeah.
You know these brothers when you see them.
Right.
And he said, yo, you have no idea, bro. You saved my life, you saved his life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a chance to, I can't remember what record it was. I wish I would. Smoked a joint, was like, I'm not even gonna kill this nigga.
Man.
Yeah. So, I owe those conversations to these motherfuckers. To give me something like that, nigga, I owe you. So I'm always gonna have these conversations, even when I don't want to. I'm gonna smile when you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because those 2 minutes, dude, you have no idea what that means to these people's lives. You got me through college, bro. I was gonna drop off. If I didn't have your album to listen to, I would have never studied. All these fucking things. Like, man, like, we were just fucking trying to be cool and fly. And to show people you can be yourself. That's it.
I mean, seriously, yeah. I mean, that's what them Tribe records showed me, you know, because that was the same deal. Like, I think when I think about Tribe, I think about my older cousin. I grew up in Landover, just out here, and he was the first black kid I'd ever seen with a skateboard.
Dude. Because I had one too.
He had a skateboard, and so I love my aunt, but you know, my family didn't really understand because black kids just didn't have skateboards like that until we were listening to I Left My Wallet in El Segundo, then Me, Myself, and I, and all that stuff. So we're listening to pretty much the Native Tongue Collective, and then he's hearing that, and then he just goes outside like, oh, okay, these guys made it cool. I can be myself. I can be the math science kid. And I can go outside and I can skate down Eli Place real quick.
We wanted to show, like, black people aren't a monolith, man. We're so fucking different, dude. We're so different from person to person, dude. 5-block radius will change the whole type of motherfucker you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just wanted to show that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole different flavors, and you know what I'm saying? And we've been through all the stuff you've been through, but you can still laugh and have a good fucking time and not, you know.
Yeah, be stone face all the time.
Yeah.
And your music does that too, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Like, it really does. Like, so I've been meaning to ask, I mean, and you correct me where I'm wrong, but I feel like your, like, sort of magnum opus record is Robots and Dinosaurs. I remember when I first heard that, I was like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this whole record front to back, I need this.
Yeah.
I'm at the album release party, I'm at all this stuff. So I guess I wanted to ask, like, what was the impetus for you going into the creation of that album?
I thought my career was over. It was one of the moments I had come home from work. I was working, wasn't doing a whole bunch with Opus. I think actually wasn't doing a whole bunch, period. Like, I wasn't touring with any jazz bands. I was basically at work every day, 9 to 5, 2 kids, coming home, mortgage, you know, all the things was on me. And then just that whole thing of looking around and being like, well, they making money. I'm over here with $2 in struggle bus situations and about to bring some lunch back to work. You know what I mean? Or try to get this extra overtime.
Right.
And feeling like I'm old. Because I was going to ask you about that too, like the transition times with Tribe and when you know, as y'all got older and started branching out. And so that was it, man. I was just like, all right, I'm an old rapper. Like, what happens? Because we're one of the only genres in music where you can't be like the Rolling Stones, or you can't be like Jimmy, or you can't be like anybody, where they could just keep making music. I'm on the road with jazz musicians and they 55, they 67, they 72, and I'm like, all right, well, where's a 72-year-old hip-hop dude gonna be? Because we've been force-fed that you can't get old in hip-hop. As soon as you hit a certain age, then, you know, you like, what was that movie where they killed all the grown-ups had to go into the little machine and die? Like, it was a Star Trek episode, too. They called them the Grups. Like, if you was a Grup, son, you had to go get in the machine and get murked because you couldn't be over a certain age.
You understand why, though?
No, of course. You can't. I mean, by the time you get to a certain age, you realize that the contract is BS. You can fight for what you want. You know what your publishing actually means. So
the last thing they want is a bunch of intelligent older black men showing these kids where to go.
Right.
That's the last.
So they got to make you feel like you aged out. And so at that point, I was aging out. I was like, okay, I'm at the point. I'm about to age out of this business. I'm done. Everything is changing. The music is changing, and I don't want to be a bitter old man. And I came home, and it was around Christmas time, and I asked my son what he wanted for Christmas, and he was like, robots and some dinosaurs, and left me in the basement with that. And I was like turning on my equipment, and I was like, man, I'm making a little song. I gotta make a beat, because when you first get equipment, I made a promise to myself to keep producing and never quit. Yeah. And here I am on the precipice, about to quit, about to fold all this shit up, sell it, keep it moving. And Shorty dropped a gem on me, and I was like, yeah, man, you know, robots. He wants some robots and some dinosaurs. And I was like, oh, shit, I could either be a robot, like all these other people are making the same music, or I could be an old bitter dinosaur out here mad at music. And I was like, well, I'm gonna just write a whole record about that, about what it means to get older, about what it means to have kids and feeling like you can be just as good as anybody else, about what music feels to me, about where I am at this place in my life, and put it on record. And I had my son narrate the joint. Because I was like, you gave me the idea, shorty, so let's go with it. Mm-hmm. And then by the time that record was finished, I was like, okay, I could just keep making music. Because that's what the song, the Chanticleer song, is just about that. It's just like, I could still keep making music. I could just do that. Yeah. Ain't nobody stopping me. You know, so I'm just going to keep going. And that's what happened.
Okay, right on. And you said you had a question.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was asking Jarobi. It's like, I know that there's transitional times. There's so many parallels in our life that's crazy with me and Jarobi. From the food to the group and what our job was in each group. So I know there was a time of transition. Like, everybody kind of was going their own way.
Let me say this to you. The tribe journey of voyage has been unique in that there's always been a desire for us. You know what I'm saying? So there was never really a point where we felt like, oh, this can't be done anymore. Because every 2 motherfucking years we was on a goddamn Rock the Bells tour because you know what I'm saying? Right. Because people wanted to see us, you know what I mean? But we definitely had kind of moved on from Tribe after, what was it?
Was it the Love Movement? Or?
No. It was like after one of these last Rock the Bells tours. We made the movie.
Okay, yeah.
That was kind of like, okay, let's put this puppy to rest. You know what I mean? And so there was this thing of like, I'm doing music. Everybody's doing a production shit. Fife was getting into sports management, and everybody was definitely doing things to do that. You know what I mean? And I guess that was the thought of us moving on. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, we're all workers. So we're gonna work. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna work. I love to work. Tip loves to work. Like, we love to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then we thought we was on our way out. And then we thought we were just going to be like, Sonny moved us to what they call the legacy. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we're the legacy, putting out best of records, making appearances and shit. Like, that's where we was. Like, you know what I'm saying, at that point. And then we're like, okay, 25th anniversary of the first album, People's Instinctive, came around. So this was like, somebody got in that department and got a hair up their ass like, well, we're really going to use these legacy motherfuckers. Like, you know, we're going to use their status as legacy and make all of these projects, but really support these best of projects. We're not just going to make a best of record and then just put it out. No, they're going to support and do shows and all these things surrounding it, right? So that's what we did. We did the Jimmy Fallon show was the first thing we did. And, you know, this was probably at that point like 15 years since we made a record. And maybe 5 years since we had been on a real tour or something like that. So 4 or 5 years since we was on a real tour. So we were just like, okay, we're gonna do this to support because this is what they want us to do. They're gonna give us some money. They're doing merchandising and all that stuff, and that's what we were really the most excited about, all this merchandising. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, we're gonna support doing all of this. So we didn't practice or nothing. We just fucking showed up to this Jimmy Fallon show.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
And if you see that Jimmy Fallon show, it looked like we've been doing this shit the whole time. Like, it looked crazy, and we're like, holy shit. So I'm like, man, we got something left. And it took a few years to convince everybody, like 2 years to convince everybody. So, and then, but before that, I was making a transition. Ooh, yeah. So, like, I was living in Atlanta, and I was like, okay, I'm going to New York to be like a real chef. Because I was a corporate chef before. I'm like, now I'm about to be one of these fucking Bobby Flay niggas. Like, I'm about to be one of these niggas.
Right.
So I'm going to New York, and like, you know what I'm saying, getting the game.
Right.
So I went up there and did that, and I was like, you know, I've been protecting my my anonymity the fact that I could still get on a train and stuff and do a lot of shit, I was protecting that with my dear life. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out with tip, and they're like, oh, Jarobi, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I love that, you know what I'm saying? So because I could go to the supermarket, I could do this, I could do that, like, you know what I'm saying? So I was holding on to that so tight. And I was like, you know, I need to, I know that my journey won't be fulfilled until I release that. Until I let people know who the fuck I really am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My dream's not complete if I don't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have some shit to make me go back to step one again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do this shit all over again. I'm doing this shit all over again. So, Dress was like, I'm not saying no to shit no more. If it makes sense, I'm fucking doing it. Fuck that, I'm doing it. First thing that happens, 2 days later, Dress is like, yo, you need to do this album. You have not done shit. You need to do this fucking album. And Drez is one of my best, one of my best friends, obviously.
Shout out to Drez, yep.
So he's like, so yo, boom, you come to New York, I'm gonna get on the first song with you, get your wheels, get you back in training and shit. Did 1 song, dope. 2 songs, dope. 3 songs, I'm like, oh, like, I played him for Tip. He's like, yo, that nigga should be a group. I don't come back all like, yo, Tip said we should be a group. Drez like, slow down, cowboy. But then we start started missioning, and we made this beautiful project to me, because it's like me getting back on a bike, like, you know what I'm saying, not knowing that the universe put that there for me to prepare me to do the Tribe album. Not knowing like how beautiful, like how the universe fucking works. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm transitioning out.
Yeah.
But like when it came down, next year we do the thing, and I'm like, yo, we need to do this album. And Tip was like, well, nigga, you the only one that's current rapping, so you gonna have to write, my nigga. You gonna have to start writing. Wow. I'm only doing. We started off. He's like, I'm only doing beats.
Wow.
Y'all niggas gotta rap. Jarobi, you wanna do this shit? You wanna do this shit?
Wow.
You shirked the responsibility of the label, the records, and dealing with these people your whole career. Guess who has to deal with it? And he made me fucking talk to these people that I never talked to these niggas. They know I know who they were. Yeah. And they knew who I was, but I never fucked them and talked with them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sent the emails and
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to sit and talk with these people and get to know these people and do all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Unbeknownst to me, him and Fife made a deal. Okay, boom. This is gonna be Jarobi's Low End Theory.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know this was going on. You know what I'm saying? This is behind. I only found out after Fife passed that that's what they was talking about. You know what I'm saying? And it started off that way. You know what I'm saying? I would start off the fucking concept of the songs and shit. I wrote like a half of a verse for Fife, and then his pen just woke the fuck back up like. So me and him are getting busy. And then Tip saw we were serious, and we put these songs down. Because we were like, okay, we're going to get in the studio. If the shit is trash, we're not putting it out.
Right.
But we would have spent that time, us together in the studio making this fucking shit. Everything that you hear except for Elton John's verse happened in that fucking in Tip's house in the studio. No mail-in verses, none of that bullshit. You came to the fucking crib, you sat down with us, and we wrote shit together, and we set shit together. That's how the whole project went. That's why it's so dope about this project. So, like, you know, I was trying to get out.
And they brought you back in.
I was trying to get out.
You know, and I'm still going through that process. If Fife didn't die, the complexion of my album would have been different.
Yeah.
But after he passed, I was just so caught up in, damn, this nigga, they don't lose. Like, they're like, these niggas don't lose. Like, they're still dope no matter what. We could sit down for 1,000 years and come back and still do some dope shit. So after that, there was a lot of songs I pulled my verses off of. I didn't want my verses on because, especially the one with him and Kendrick, because I wanted to be like, okay, this Kendrick is a guy that y'all think is the best guy in the world right now. Listen to him next to my brother and tell me my brother still got it or not. There was instances like that where I wanted to like show him like, look. They still got it. He still got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of withdrew from, which is okay by me anyway. But
yeah.
But like, you know, I got my shit off.
Right on, man.
I got my shit off. But like, yeah, just to show like that process where the guys were and how fly we are because we hadn't done an album in 20 years and this is what we still sound like.
Right on, man.
That was a flex to me. And it was ill when it started coming together. I'm like, oh shit. We're still on some different shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So that was,
Dope flex.
Yeah. So that was really cool, and I love everything about that process.
You got more questions, bro?
Nah, man, I'm just like, that's amazing to me. I appreciate the fact that y'all got back together. Not that everybody was, because I feel like you are similar to how you began in the beginning as the vibe curator and conductor. Probably were the mediator during the whole. Were the mediator during all the tumultuous. Like, you still friends with everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
You be like, what you doing? I make sure that you can still listen to the records, motherfucker.
Right. And that they still talk.
That they still talking.
That they still talking because I'm gonna make sure I check in on you. I'm gonna check in on you.
Brothers, man.
Did you check in on your other brother? Like, you know, and call you to the carpet because you were day one.
You don't think that you being a little bit crazy right now?
Right.
Fucked up. He said, "Come on, like really, dude." You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's dope.
Yeah.
It's feeling like the glue, right? It's being that unspoken glue that's there, and I feel like people recognize it and know it.
Yeah. They don't have to.
And I feel like internally though that everybody knows it. They don't have to, but they know.
Yeah. I know it.
Right. I think that's more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right on, man. Well, I mean, I know we've been wrapping you up for a minute. I don't have any further questions unless.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to just keep wrapping you up.
No. It's all, you know. This is worth it. I hope that somebody will take something from the things that we've said and do something with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what's next?
This was a master class just now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. What's next for me?
Yeah.
Right now I'm having so much fun DJing.
Okay. Amen.
I have so much fun DJing. More cooking stuff. I can't really see myself writing anymore. But I would love to introduce somebody new to the game. Somebody that's not just gonna do dope shit for themselves, but bring other dope people to the party too. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's not just gonna who's gonna be their own branch. I would love to bring that through. You know, as soon as I find that situation, you'll see it splash all over the place.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Where you DJing next? Are you?
I have residencies in Miami every Tuesday and Friday, and I'm all over the place, man.
Okay.
I travel, bro.
Where you at?
Okay.
Every Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesdays I'm at 100 Lucky.
Oh, okay.
And Fridays I'm at this place called Mickey Burke's.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's just like the first hip hop spot on the Miami Beach proper in a long time.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing real hip hop on the beach, which is unheard of.
Okay.
And that's every other Tuesday?
That's every Friday.
That's every Friday. So where are you now? Where you living now?
Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a good thing
That's
to know.
a wave right there.
That's a wave. That's
Okay.
understandable. That's a thing to know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nah, man, seriously, appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Y'all got everything y'all need?
Yeah.
Okay.